Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold.
Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold.
This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. 22222. And it's a Relevant Podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, on this momentous occasion. Joining me from Loverland, Virginia, is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Happy Tuesday, Jesse.
Ooh, I like that.
Happy Tuesday.
I was going to say, I hope you you hold the release for 2:22 p.m. I feel like that's only fair.
I think we'd get too many angry tweets if we did that. From Austin, Texas, author, speaker, podcaster, Jamie Ivey.
Hey, guys.
And since Derek Miner is in LA for this recording, joining us once again from Paris, France, our associate editor, downtown Emily Brown. Hey, Emily.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Happy Tuesday. I'm just going to enjoy this
crazy.
date. I'm going to write a whole bunch of...
We've had a big celebration here.
I'm going to dust off my checkbook and write a whole bunch of checks today just so I can write this date down. I'm very excited. This just happens like once in a millennium. This is a big deal.
I feel like 200 years from now, people are just going to be mocking us like this was a big deal because they get an extra 2 in the equation. They're going to be like, those people back in 2022, they didn't even really have anything to celebrate. They was just a teaser for 200 years in the future.
That's true.
That's just me. I'm not sure you Killjoy, but they're not going to have a 0 in the mix. So
right.
But will their February 22nd be on a Tuesday? Can someone do the math for us and figure that out?
See? We have the Tuesday angle.
Quite the project.
Quite the project. He's just going to be flipping through his iCal calendar until he gets to
over and over 200
years in the future.
You're not going to believe it, too. I got lunch plans that day, so finally catching up.
I have staff meeting.
with that aunt who's been meaning to grab lunch with me. So,
all right. Well, we have a great show in store for you today. We talked to one of my heroes, our friend, author, speaker, Santa Claus. No, that's not true. Bob Goff joins us. He has a new book out. He joins us for the penultimate. That's second to last. The final installment of our New You series. It's a great conversation. You do not want to miss it. We also have your feedback. You guys send us in clips of cringe videos. Don't want to miss that. That's going to be a good one coming up later. And but right now, stay tuned. It slices. You're listening to Jay Pastel. The song is Lung. Well, today's podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Relationships take work, especially the most important one you can have in your life, which is the relationship with yourself. Taking care of yourself can look like a lot of different things, like eating right, exercising, or seeking professional counseling. This month, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you that you matter just as much as everyone else does, and therapy is a great way to make sure you show up for yourself. Therapy is a helpful resource that gives you space to freely discuss and process the ups and downs of life. And BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. And right now, Relevant Podcast listeners can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/relevant. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/relevant. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
Still not used to it. Play another one.
I love it.
Play another one. That's pretty good. I like that there's like some momentum on that one. I like that one. All right. What do you got, Jesse?
All right. Well, I know we've talked extensively about the Olympic Games on this podcast, and they have ended, but a controversy that has been getting some attention, I think, is bringing up a lot of really interesting issues, sort of at the intersection of kind of global corruption, authoritarian regimes, the ethics of sports, but also how we view race and issues with different substances. And the story starts off with findings, the revelation that a 15-year-old Russian figure skater named Kamila Valieva had actually tested positive for a performance for a banned substance that is a heart medication that can actually is shown to potentially enhance athletic performance. Now, she tested positive for this drug just a few weeks ago, back in late December at a competition. She has since been found to have tested positive for a couple other heart medications that aren't banned, but seem to lead credence to the idea that this was performance enhancing in its sort of desire that she had taken this banned substance. Now, there's kind of been back and forth on different reasons. Like she had said it was a mistake and that maybe she had actually taken her grandfather's heart medication or something. But either way, the IOC determined that it would be unfair to suspend her for the games despite testing positive for performance enhancing drugs. Now, they've given a couple of reasons, including her age, and said they want to kind of take more time to kind of investigate this case. We'll make a decision later. But that's kind of unprecedented that an athlete competing at the Olympic level gets a pass for using a performance-enhancing drug. Now, I'm not saying this as an indictment on this. This is a child. She's 15 years old and is an athlete for Russia, a country that is known to put tremendous amount of pressure on its athletes, even if that means
and known to be corrupt. There's a reason why Russia's didn't compete. Because they were suspended for corruption.
And so that's an important preference. That's an important thing I want to note. Like, this isn't, like I said, an indictment on a 15-year-old. Like, let's I'm not making any judgments on her moral character, but it is in sharp juxtaposition of something that happened to U.S. track star Sha'Carri Richardson, who's been tweeting about this case because she was disqualified from the 100-meter race in the Tokyo Olympics in July of 2021. So not that long ago. Remember, the Olympic Games were delayed, and so they were just last summer. And notably, she was projected to at least finish in the top 3. They were projecting her to medal. She was one of the top 100-meter athletes in the world. And as people who follow the Summer Olympics know, the careers for those type of athletes aren't as long, just the nature of the sport in sprinting. And so this might have been, hopefully not, but could have been one of her very few opportunities to medal in the Olympic Games. And the reason that she was suspended, because she was found to had recently tested positive for cannabis, specifically the psychotropic, ingredient of THC, which is banned by the IOC. And she made an apology for that, but she also said that, her mother had recently died and she was taking it to try to calm anxiety and panic attacks, following her mother's death. And it should be noted that THC or cannabis is not considered a performance enhancing drug by most people who follow athleticism. In fact, I think it would actually have quite the opposite effect for a sprinter. But Sha'Carri Richardson tweeted this: can we get a solid, and she tweeted this to the IOC, and it's been getting a lot of attention. Can we get a solid answer on the difference of her situation and mine? And she's referring there to the Russian figure skater. My mother died and I can't run. My mother died and I can't run, and I was favored to place in the top 3. The only difference I see is that I'm a black young lady. And I don't necessarily, I think her observation there is very fair, especially when you look at not just in the Olympics, but also in the criminal justice system, how, different substances that, now I feel like pot is everywhere. But when you look at the history of the war on drugs, it's not just with pot or cannabis. There's a lot of different drugs that laws were passed and I should say laws were enforced specifically targeting specific communities, often that were communities that were predominantly people of color. And so I think what the issues that she is drawing attention to is bigger than just the Olympics. But I also think the Olympic, the IOC, who controls all the rules, has something to answer for here, because it does seem like pretty stark hypocrisy.
Well, I think one of the really interesting things about the Olympics is we kind of talked about this, because each country they kind of get this world stage every couple of years. And a lot of these countries maybe don't know a lot about or something like that. I think it is exposing a lot that there is still progress to be made when it comes to racism, that, I think there's so many people that still think like it's gone, and it's like, well, no, it's still present in subtle ways. And this is a really good example where, like you explained, she had, I would argue, more valid reasons to take a drug versus, just a girl who was probably pressured by coaches. And it is really frustrating that, Sha'Carri was punished for this, because she, like you said, she might not get this chance again. And it is really frustrating. So I'm glad that she spoke up about it, because I would be frustrated too. And I don't know if I would call out the IOC, but it's good that she's speaking about it and asking those tough questions.
Yep. All right. What do you have, Jamie?
Okay, well, this story is kind of bizarre, but maybe not if you are familiar with this pastor. I actually was not familiar with him, and but here we go. A pastor in Tennessee, Greg Locke. You guys follow him?
Yeah.
I'm aware, and I also know about some espionage that's happening at the church
a lot
right
of
now.
it. Yes.
And I would like for you to dig in, please, because I find this story,
okay, I don't know about this story. Greg Locke, though,
unintentionally
very controversially would
very controversial.
Speak out about Trump and conspiracies and stuff from the pulpit.
COVID and all the things, yeah. Clark, how about you just play a little clip real quick that's going to sum this story up?
Oh, no.
This is him preaching on Sunday.
We got first and last names of 6 witches that are in our church. And you know what's strange? 3 of you are in this room right now.
Yep.
He's dancing.
So he's claiming that he has been told that there are 6 witches that have come into his church. Here's the deal. He said that they have revealed the names of a full-blown spell-casting witches who have been sent to infiltrate his church. Listen, he says he's got first and last names. 2 of them are in his wife's Bible study. He said he also warned them, do not make a move during this sermon. He said, you so much as cough wrong, and I'll expose in front of everybody under this tent, you stinking spell casting, pharmakia, devil worshiping, and mongrel. This is what he said. And then his final thing was, he said, hand to God, in the name of Jesus, if I'm lying, if I'm over exaggerating what I'm trying to tell these people for the purpose of clicks and likes, may I drop dead preaching on this platform, having blasphemed the power of the Holy Ghost in front of everyone.
And then he dropped
Bold.
dead. That's the story. Just
No, he's still alive.
Can I be honest? Accusing people of things that, unproven, especially from the stage, to me, this seems like one big witch hunt. And
Right.
oh my gosh, Jesse.
No, literally, this is a witch hunt. What is happening right now? Like, I mean, this, if anything, this just exposes like the overly, not just sensationalism and just like, let's say there are, let's say that there are individuals within this congregation who are secretly practicing witchcraft. I don't think that is something that needs to be announced from the stage and everyone looking at their neighbor to determine who's the witch. I mean, this is literally going back to puritanical, misogynistic, weaponizing, of fear to control people within your power. I mean, the church has been through this. Like, it did not end well for the people accused of those accusations, and ultimately the community that, allowed them to perpetuate. Like, it was massively destructive. And the fact that we're seeing this, I know we're all kind of making a joke because it is funny, but it's also disturbing on a level that it's like we're reverting that far back into just profound mistakes within the way the church has been permitted to operate, and understandings of theology. That is kind of disturbing for someone with that big of a platform to suddenly go back to the Salem, Massachusetts of the late 1700s or whatever.
Also, he said, which I think is so dumb. He was like, I mean, the whole thing is dumb, but he was like, if you come and you tell us who you are, I'm going to give you a broom myself and you can fly yourself out of here. Like, who actually sits and listens to that and thinks, oh, he's hearing from the Lord about giving out brooms so witches can fly out?
There's some women in the church that criticized him or just weren't doing the thing that he wanted them to do. So he's saying that they are, Do you remember that old Southern preacher who the clip went viral a few years ago where he started calling out the rebellious young people up in the sound booth, like during the sermon. Yeah. And then he like walked into the crowd and like there was a couple sitting there and he like called out the young man because he wasn't tithing. And then she didn't even attend church regularly. And like he just was like going around calling out everybody's business like during the service, like in an effort to control everything. You know what I mean? Like you have to abide by how I want you to abide to attend this church or else he's going to put you on blast. It feels like that from Greg Locke.
It does feel like that. Yeah. What if you just randomly had to go to the bathroom and you get up right when he starts this thing and then
don't even move.
Don't even move.
She's like, I was thinking when he's like, don't make a move. And it's like some people they need to like readjust or something. Like their back hurts and they need to change. And it's like, well, you're a witch now.
I have the worst itch.
You're a witch.
Yeah. This witch got an itch. That's why I moved. Okay, Greg? I was an itch. I'm not raising my hand. I'm not a witch. It was an itch, not a witch.
It's an itch, not a witch.
But I've had a curiosity, like listen to the quote unquote sermons by people sort of in his circle, just to wonder like what are the messages that a lot of people are kind of hearing that attend these types of churches, and most of it is how insufficiently outraged about things the congregations are about issues that pastor is outraged about, and it mostly is admonishing people for not being just angry enough about random issues, whether it's accusations of witchcraft or some sort of social issue that doesn't affect that church at all. Right. Like that just seems to be the pattern of we can either weaponize fear or we can weaponize anger or we can find some sort of amalgamation of those, and that will, our church will not be known for love. It will not be, instead of saying, hey, the Bible says I should love my enemy or I should love people who believe differently. I'm going to offer them a broom to fly out of here. It's just exposing these type of churches for the sort of reverse gospel that they seem to be more interested in perpetuating than the teachings of Christ.
Do you remember on The Simpsons, little Ralph, he on Valentine's Day,
of course,
he did send a little Valentine card and it said, "I choose you." Do you remember that? I
do.
I'm thinking about that this is I Tuesday. Like there's so many twos in today's date. That's where my brain went. All right, Emily, what do you got there from Paris? Something Parisian?
Close, something European, but not fully French. The Dutch.
Hopefully you don't need to be peeing during service or else it'll be a witch. Be called out. Sorry.
So apparently 13,000 people have said that they are interested in a Facebook event called Throwing Eggs at Super Yacht Jeff Bezos. Basically, so Jeff Bezos is creating this yacht that I think is supposed to be like the biggest ever made because, you know, why not? That's what the world needs right now. But
and they're dismantling a historical bridge, right?
Yeah. So it's being made in the Netherlands, but to get it like out of the port, they're going to have to dismantle this historic bridge. And then
they're going to reassemble it, and he's paying for it. But I mean, it is still quite the gesture. But
they're just like temporarily dismantling it, so that he can get his boat through. And 13,000 people have said they're interested. 4,000 people said they will attend the event. And they basically, the premise is they're just going to take a box of rotten eggs and you just throw it at the yacht if it passes through. And that's their way of kind of like, I guess, threatening Bezos that they don't want him to come through their port. But from what I've seen, he has to pass through that port. Otherwise,
he has to. There's only one way out. That's why they're taking the bridge down.
Will never leave.
I mean, like,
that's funny. So the ship's 3 masts are too high for the bridge's roughly 130-foot clearance. So this is a big boat. Like, this is massive. So I mean, like, they have to dismantle it, but yeah, basically the city was like, we don't want to dismantle it. I can't tell if it's because they really love this bridge or they just really don't like Jeff Bezos, but either way, that is what the Dutch people have been up to lately.
Well, I live in a town that has, I grew up in a town called Great Bridge, and it's called that because there's a giant locks bridge in the middle of town. And I can tell you that even when the intent of the bridge is to open and close for very short amounts of times for a boat to pass through, people get mad. And it's like, you understand, they're doing, like, they have just as much a right to go down the intercoastal waterway as you have to cross the intercoastal waterway in your car. People get outraged about bridge stuff. It's very sensitive. And if people yell at a tugboat going through a locks bridge during lunch hour, I can only imagine the type of just the anger that dismantling and reassembling an entire bridge would draw out of a population.
You live in an area that needs help naming things. You lived in a town called Great Bridge because it had a big bridge. You have a big former landfill that turned into a big hill called Mount Trashmore. Your town is called Virginia Beach. Literally, we're in Virginia. Clear. There's a beach town here. Clarity. I don't know. Call it Virginia Beach. I don't know. Like, you guys. What?
By the way, I was driving home last night, and our local NPR station played a story with an update about the Mount Trashmore sledding situation.
Yes.
They actually found the guy who broke his leg and he had the spleen injury in 1996, and they interviewed him. Okay.
Is he for it? Is he for it or against it? Like, allowing sledding?
His stance seemed unclear. But a police officer who was also mortally wounded on that mountain back in the 90s, he's the one leading the charge. He's on city council now. He's the one trying to get it back in action. Oh. He's saying, I will figure it out. But it's a big story around here. But all I have to say is, you're right, Cameron. We have very, strong naming conventions. There's a big, like, kind of planned urban development near me with, like, big, Cameron, I think we've driven by there. It's got a couple of, I don't know, probably 45-foot story buildings. That kind of, big planned urban area. It's called Town Center. Okay, that's as creative as we get in these parts. But if people say you go to Town Center,
well, it's in the center of town. Town Center,
Clearly, it's the center of town.
That'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, Bob Goff joins us.
And now I'm out here walking on air. Everywhere I go, I know you're right there. And even when I don't know what's coming next, yeah, you got me covered. You got me covered. And when I can't make sense of my thoughts, even when I'm feeling a little bit lost, I know you'll be right.
You're listening to Switch. The song is Covered. Well, this week's conversation is part of our New You series, an 8-week limited content series presented by our friends at UHSM. Every week, we've been speaking with leaders and experts on ways we can be healthier this year in spirit, mind, and body. We've been posting new articles every Tuesday and Thursday at relevantmagazine.com. And here on the podcast, you've been hearing the conversations that are part of that series as well. This is the final installment in the New You series. And what better way to end it with Bob Goff. He's the incredible speaker and author of books like Love Does and Everybody Always. He has a brand new book coming out called Undistracted, which focuses on silencing the noise around you to focus on the task you've been given. Bob sat down with our very own Tyler Huckabee to discuss the benefits of living a life of undistracted love and connection and how to eliminate distractions that keep us from pursuing full joy and true happiness. Here's our conversation with Bob Goff.
You say this is something that you've dealt with, like feeling distracted. What did that look like for you in your own personal life? What was that struggle?
Oh yeah, man. Like I take an Enneagram 7. I'm just flaming, like just go. Yeah. And we live distracted. That is just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I think you could be enthusiastic about what's going on around you and at the same time kind of understand what's going on inside of you. And so sometimes we get either so whacked out about the things going on around that helicopter tragedy. Was it a year or two ago? That the pilot got distracted by what was going on around him, and he forgot what was going on inside the cockpit. And so maybe thinking of that for you and I to say, like, if you're so distracted by what color somebody's hat is or how they express their faith or what their position is, and everybody's in everybody's grill about stuff, that you could be distracted by coming up with a worldview that this is not a safe place. And so I don't want to feel rejection. And so what I'll rather do is fake it. And then we become caricatures. If I'm always Bob the balloon guy, because that's what everybody's expecting. And then they don't get to know like a deeply introspective person too. So we can have these two personas going on. There's the person that your loved ones know, and then there's the person that strangers know. And what I want to do is like kind of sync those up or understand what's going on and why. Like, what's that connected to? It's just a really fair question to ask yourself.
Do you think that given things like our phones and social media, the Wi-Fi being everywhere, is it easier to get distracted now than it used to be, or does getting distracted just look a little different now than it used to for people?
Oh yeah, like everybody, like people are not just somebody that's like in the crosshairs, but if you're adjacent to the person in the crosshairs, then all of a sudden you're like, you catch a stray. Like, oh my gosh. And so what you can do is walk around really afraid rather than walking around really engaged. Like your head's on a swivel looking for an opportunity versus being head on a swivel looking for a problem. Like, what will people think if, like, whatever, one misplaced word, one incomplete thought, one whatever. And if your worldview is that everybody's going to get your grill on this and then it's going to happen, and just go like, and then we start then avoiding people who have had a problem or made a really big misstep. It can be a big public one or an even larger private one. And I think I just want to invert that a little bit. And part of living a less distracted life is to come to grips with the fact that you'll always be misunderstood. I mean, they killed Jesus. What's a bad day for you? Like, it's going to happen constantly that we're misunderstood. And so what are you going to do when the anticipated happens? And I want to assume friendship. and I want to receive that I'll be misunderstood. It's really subtle. People will tilt their head about 2 degrees. Kind of like a Labrador, like when they don't understand, like, why are you holding the duck? Why am I not holding the duck? So to understand that this is going to happen, and don't let that be a distraction. I'm not aiming for misunderstanding. I'm aiming for the opposite. I'm looking for clarity, but I'm not going to sacrifice who I am for clarity to a stranger. And so I'll just and that doesn't mean I have a high view of myself. I have just a really high view of what's possible if we fan the flames, like Paul was saying, of this unique gift that we have. And we each roll differently. So if you do something that's odd, I'm just going to assume you're a really smart guy. You must have given that some thought. Or maybe you just muffed it like I did.
So let's say, kind of throw a hypothetical at you, which is probably not a hypothetical. I'm sure it's happened to you. It certainly happened to me. You say something publicly on stage, on social media, something like that, and it's misunderstood. Like you said, people are maybe offended, they're angry, they're sad, they're disappointed, whatever it is. You have these 2 competing reactions, which is to either kind of double down, get defensive, or to apologize. And, I'm so sorry, I never meant that. How should we be wise in how we navigate that sort of very public backlash that seems like you're talking about to always be looming over us when we speak on these issues?
Yeah. Part of that, there's a great verse. It's Romans 12, and it says, for as much as it's within your power, like live at peace with other people. Yeah. And I live pretty much at peace with other people. Sometimes it's hard to live at peace with myself because you could be so hard on yourself. I should have said this, or I should have whatever. And if you have a distraction in your life, you can replace it with something bigger and better. I got a school for 250 girls in Afghanistan. That is a bigger thing than whatever small thing is distracting me somewhere else. There's a great letter was sent in Peter, and it said, make a defense for the hope that's within you. And I met a lot of people where faith is important to them, and they're trying to be Jesus's lawyer. And he doesn't need one, and you're not good enough. So like that idea to, if you read on and it continues, there's no comma even, but do it with kindness and respect. And so when all the crazy happened in Afghanistan, we had our headmaster, the teacher, go to the new ruling people and say, let our girls go back to school. It was like they did this Jedi thing because they said, okay. Within 3 weeks of the takeover, our girls are back in their chairs. And I'm not trying to make a headline. I want to make a difference. And that's why you won't hear about that stuff on the news, because I want us to make a difference. And you don't have to go across the ocean. Go across the street. Go find one weird neighbor. I got a whole block full of them. I'm one of them. Find one person that's a little off-putting or you can't dial in. Bake them a pie. If they don't want it, I do.
Some other things, just practically, for those of us who are feeling very distracted, both in terms of just our day-to-day life, our spiritual lives, our relationships, what are things we can actually do that are going to help us focus, I guess is the right word, or at least be less distracted?
Yeah, first you got to catch up to where you were. This is what I mean. We've got a place up in Canada, 10,000 square miles to our nearest neighbor. It's in the bush. And so we'll be gone for a day or a week, or with all the crazy that's happened, like a year. And before we leave, the last thing we do, we take a plastic cup, we fill it with water and freeze it. We put a penny on top and we put it back in the freezer. And then when we come back a week or a month or 6 months later, if the penny's on the bottom and it's frozen, you know what happened when you were gone. It thawed out, right? You think you're getting a T-bone, you're actually getting a toxin. And so what I want us to do is figure out what happened while you were gone. So if this period of time with COVID was so difficult for so many, to say, when I kind of checked out emotionally or even physically from colleagues, what happened while I was gone? Like to really like not just say, oh yeah, everything's great. There's actually more to that. So not be in a hurry all the time to just get to the next thing, to slow it down a little bit. And again, I make coffee nervous. I'm like, I'm always on the move. But I'm trying to just slow it down a little bit and say, when I just kind of checked out of a relationship or I checked out of something that was causing me a lot of stress, like what happened while I was gone? Because I just want to kind of check back in on that and then figure that out and just say, like, is there a way I can recreate something more beautiful out of that? Is this a remodel or a tear down? And then just figure out what's your next move. What's the next courageous move? And always moving towards authenticity. So if you're fun, and I am fun, you can trend towards being the fun guy. And what I want to trend toward is being the authentic guy. Like you have to be self-aware to know like what's going on. What did I miss when I stopped impressing people by whatever, insert here, whatever you think is impressive. And then just get real and just actually show up, not as a caricature of yourself, but actually as yourself.
That was Bob Goff. You can read more of that conversation over at relevantmagazine.com. While you're there, make sure to check out the rest of the New You series that UHSM is sponsoring. You can find a link right there in the nav bar under Life. You'll see New You, and it'll take you to the full 8-week run. And also, we did the series to we're going into a new year. We're rethinking a lot of things, trying to figure out how to get out of our ruts in some ways. Well, as you're rethinking things this year, if you're rethinking your healthcare, look into UHSM. They offer member-based programs where faithful people can take charge of their own healthcare, from telehealth options to plans that cover the unexpected moments in life. UHSM has something for everyone. For more information, head over to uhsm.org or contact a representative at 800-900-8476. Again, check out uhsm.org or talk to a rep at 800-900-8476. We're so grateful for their support of the New You series. Great partnership. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback. You're listening to Joywave. The song is We Are All We Need. Okay, it's time for your feedback. Last week, I don't even know how we got onto this, but we asked for your most cringy videos. Oh, because
the dating
stuff. And then didn't we see a cringy? Oh, the guy who did the Christmas song.
Cringy videos. Yeah.
But he didn't know they were cringy. He thought they were excellent. Yeah. He was singing Christmas songs. And yeah. And it got us thinking about the wonderful world of cringy videos. So we just asked you to send us your favorite cringy videos. You guys hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast. And here's a few of our favorites. I'm just going to I'm going to just do it. Here we go. First up, Joseph Fowler sent in this iconic internet video from his sweet home in Alabama. Here is the original Leprechaun news story from local channel 15 there in Alabama. Play it.
Well, just in time for St. Patrick's Day, crowds are coming by the dozens to get an up-close view at what some say is a piece of Irish folklore.
Some people in the Crichton area of Mobile say a leprechaun has taken up residence in their neighborhood. A leprechaun. NBC 15's Brian Johnson has more.
Curiosity leads to large crowds in Mobile's Crichton community. Many of you bring binoculars, camcorders, even camera phones to take pictures.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else seen the leprechaun say yeah?
Eyewitnesses say the leprechaun only comes out at night. If you shine a light in its direction, it suddenly disappears. This amateur sketch resembles what many of you say the leprechaun looks
That's the
like.
best.
Others find it hard to believe and have come up with their own theories.
Guys,
and
leprechauns
explanations
on the loose in Alabama, witches in Greg Locke's church. What's hobbits running around somewhere? What else do we got to worry about? We have fantasy creatures worrying us now.
Oh man! All right. Next is Aaron Siracco sent in. That was iconic. That wasn't as cringy as it was just funny. But Aaron Siracco sent in one and said, "My name is John Dacre. My name is John Dacre." Here's the clip.
So John Dacre's here. Bob Spencer, Michelle Casey, and I all go to First United Methodist Church.
Oh.
So John is going to sing a song that's very popular nowadays, and it's Christ the Lord is risen today, and he's going to do Amora too, okay?
Okay. This looks like a cable access show.
My name is John Dacre. Lord is risen today. Hallelujah. Sons of men and angels say hallelujah. Lift your voice and triumphs high. Hallelujah.
Poor John Dacre.
Amazing.
It looks like he was making up a song like as he was hearing the piano for the first time. Like he's like, you just play a melody, I'm gonna make up lyrics as we go.
Also, I think he was trying to not move his face.
If you could envision the set for the cable access, it's like a gray curtain behind. It's almost like the Lawrence Welk show style, and he's standing. Is definitely a 70s video. He's standing in front of a mic stand. He looks like he's posing for a portrait. He's so rigid.
He looked like he was like a ventriloquist to me. Like I kept waiting for him to pull something behind his back and have that scene.
My name is John Dacre. Oh, yeah. That's pretty good. That's good cringe. All right, here's another one. The McRib girl at Santa Clarita's town council meeting. It's a young woman. She's giving a very earnest plea to her local city council to convince them they should do something to bring back McDonald's McRib sandwich. Here it is.
So I'll just get into it. In 1982, a boneless barbecue pork sandwich was introduced to the United States, and it was available for only a limited time during the fall, which is called the McRib. But this year, McDonald's they decided to give regional managers the power to decide whether to sell the McRib at their locations. And apparently only 55% of McDonald's franchises nationwide have chosen to sell the McRib. I don't know. To me, like, Thanksgiving for my family without this, like, McRib is like a Christmas, like, without snow. It just doesn't make sense.
This is one of my all-time favorite internet videos. One of my friends used to have this monologue memorized because we would just reference it all the time. But she gets real impassioned in it. She has done so much research to find the McRib.
My thing is she keeps saying McRib. Like
that's what I thought she was saying, McRib.
Like it's my crib.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she can't pronounce it.
But it's McRib, right? McRib.
Rib. But she was maybe she was nervous. She was just saying McRib.
Now, this is the type of political activism and discourse that I like. Instead of threatening the members of a school board council for something, a page of a library book or something.
Oh yeah.
Let's activate the youths and get them solving all our fast food woes.
So she wanted the city council to lean on the local franchisee to be one of the regional managers that brought in the McRib. That's hilarious.
Yep.
I remember when the Mexican pizza was temporarily discontinued
from Taco
Bell.
There was nowhere we could go. And thanks to pioneers like this young activist, we know take it right to the city council,
That's right.
even though this is far outside of their authority.
Right. She was wearing a tie and everything. I don't think she was like thinking that this was a prank. I think she really thought
she was serious.
That the local town council should lean on the franchisee. Yeah. She had a whole report prepared, given the history of the McRib.
I'm impressed. Very impressed.
Good for her.
Obviously, I'm hungry.
Unfortunately,
I would take a McRib
not what the
right
government's
now.
here for, but good for her. Okay.
Why is the McRib shaped like it has bones?
Yeah.
You know, like how is
it's
this
like,
meat
well, why are
de-ribbed?
nuggets shaped like dinosaurs? Like anytime you're making the thing in a natural shape, it's like.
But the thing is, at least the dinosaurs are self-aware. They're like, look, we know we just mashed up a bunch of meat. We're going to make it look like a toy. It's like the McRib is supposed to look like a rack of ribs.
Right.
Missing a key ingredient, which is ribs. And so it's like some kind of psychological thing they're doing. It's like if you ate a hamburger shaped like a fish and they would be like, oh, it's a surf and turf. They'd be like, well, I don't know. I see what you're going for.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's more where that came from. Check out the replies over at the Relevant Podcast Twitter account. Okay, it's time for this week's
editorial question of the week.
All right. Hey, we're going to keep a good thing rolling because you guys just scoured the entire internet for cringy videos. That's great. But as the esteemed Bishop Greg Locke reminded us this morning, there's a lot of cringe in the church. And so we want your favorite cringy church moment videos. Maybe the pianist fell down during the worship service. Maybe the Southern Baptist preacher called out the rebellious youth in the sound booth. We want your favorite cringe church videos. Hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast or wherever you see us post this question on the other socials as well. And we will play our favorites on next week's show.
I'm still laughing at how angry he was, but that's Southern, but also the theatrics. This ain't no threat, but in this church, witches get stitches. All right.
I love it. Hey, if there are six witches,
6 of
and
them,
3 of them are in the Bible study, I mean, you got to call that stuff out.
Let me do some quick witch math for you.
2 + 2 + 2 + 2 on a Tuesday.
2 equal too many witches.
Oh, hit us up with your favorite cringe church videos. Can't wait. We're gonna dedicate the entire hour to that next week. Okay. Well, before we wrap things up, I want to thank Bob Goff for joining us today. Make sure to check out that full conversation over in the new You series at relevantmagazine.com and all the other great content. Again, this series was presented by UHSM, and we're so thankful for their support. Also, while you're at the site, make sure to check out our daily devotional series, Deeper Walk, which is presented by Lumo. There's a morning devotional email you can sign up for, or you can check it out under the faith section on our website. It's a great way to start your day. Also, check out relevancestore.com for great new merch, our annual print edition, shirts, mugs, podcast fan gear, so much more. Relevancestore.com. There's a great deal going on right now. Also, if you like the show, rate it and review it wherever you listen. Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. Let people know what you think if you like the show. If you don't like it, well, why are you still listening, first of all? Because that's just weird. But if you like it, go tell people. It helps get the word out and spikes the algorithm for us. Also, if you like the music that we play in the breaks, make sure to check out our Spotify playlist. It's you can just search for Heard on the Relevant Podcast. And every week we're updating it with all the brand new freshness that we're playing here on the show. Go check that out. Oh, and by the way, little note, the internet in Paris went out. So Emily, downtown Emily
whole
Brown.
Place.
I don't know who to blame, but someone tell me there are 6 individuals that might have cast a little spell on this situation. We'll find you. We'll find you.
I'll tell you, if Emily doesn't send us her Wordle score,
that's right.
We're going to get concerned. So,
I don't care which way to which win. We'll find it.
Which? Oh my goodness! I wonder if he gets his sandwiches at Which. Yeah, he'd never eat a Which.
Can't eat there.
How much would you pay? I know we're running over, but how much would you pay for Craig Rochelle or someone who's just like real mild mannered, you know, and has very like noticeable kind of traditional sermon patterns, just to channel a little of that Greg Block witch energy for One Life Church? Hey everyone, welcome to Life Church this Sunday. We're talking about witches. We got witches. We got witches in the app.
In the app.
There are at least 8 witches on the app today.
Their metaverse service has been infiltrated by the witches.
Gosh.
All right. On that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Jamie Ivey.
Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast.
Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
This witch got an itch. That's why I moved. Okay, Greg?
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.